Hello, partner. So, today we will start chapter 6, and this is a 6 day of 100 days reading challenge to make our fluency perfect. So, before going deep down in this book, I'll again remind you and request you so please comment me or what can I amend in my fluency or making this video, or where you can ping me, although you can comment me, or there is a contact number, uh, community contact number. It's 9873976739. Please ping me. In future, if we will we will make a community, then we definitely work out towards making our fluency perfect. So let's get started. It's chapter 6. Motivational is overrated. Environment often matters more. Start. Anne Thornick, a primary care physician at mm, Manchester General Hospital in Boston, had a crazy idea. She believed she could improve the eating habit of thousands of hospital staff and visitors without changing their willpower or motivation in the slightest way. In fact, she didn't plan on talking to them at all. Thornick and her colleagues designed a 6-month study to alter the choice architect of the hospital cafeteria. They started by changing how drinks were arranged in the room. Originally, the refrigerators located next to the cash register in the cafeteria were filled with only soda. The researchers added water as an option to each one. Additionally, they placed baskets of bottled water next to the food station throughout the room. Soda was still in the primary refrigerator, but water was now available at all drink locations. Over the next 3 months, the number of soda sales at the hospitals dropped by 11.4%. Meanwhile, sales of bottled water increased by 25.8%. They made similar adjustments and saw similar results. With the food in the cafeteria, nobody had said a word to anyone eating there. People often choose a product not because of what they are, but because what were they are. If I walk into the kitchen and see a plate of cookies on the counter, I'll pick I'll pick up half a dozen and start eating, even if I hadn't been thinking about them beforehand and didn't necessarily feel hungry. If the communal table at the office is always filled with donuts and bagels, environment Environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. Despite our unique personalities, certain behaviors tend to arise again and again under certain environment conditions. In church, people tend to talk in whispers. On a dark street, people act wary and guarded. In this way, the most common form of change is not internal but external. We are changed by the world around us. Every habit in context dependent. It didn't take long for living equant to be tested in business. In 1952, the economist Hawkins Sand described a phenomenon he called suggestion impulsive buying, which is triggered when a shopper sees a product for the first time and visualizes a need for it. In other words, customers will occasionally buy products not because they want them, but because of how they are presented to them. For example, items at eye level tend to be purchased more than those down near the floor. But for this reason, you will find expensive brand names featured in easy to reach a location on store shelves because they drive the most profit, while cheaper alternatives are tucked away in harder to reach spots. The same goes for end caps, which are the units at the end of L's. The more obviously available a product or service is, the more likely you are to try it. People drink Bud Light because it is in every bar and visit Starbucks because it is on every corner. We like to think that we are in control. If we choose water over soda, we assume it is because we wanted to do so. The truth, however, is that many of the actions we take each day are shaped not by purposeful drive and choice, but by the most obvious option. In humans, perception is directed by the sensory nervous system. We perceive the world through sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste, but we also have other ways of sensing stimuli. Some are conscious, but many are non-conscious. For instance, you can notice when the temperature drops before a storm, or when the pain in your gut rises during a stomachache, or when you fall off balance while walking on rocky ground. The most powerful of all human sensor abilities, however, is vision. The human body has about 11 million receptors. Approximately 10 million of those are dedicated to sight. Some experts estimate that half of the brain resources are used on vision. Given that we are more dependent on vision than on any other sense, it should come as no surprise that visual cues are the greatest catalyst of our behavior. Thankfully, there is good news in that in this respect, you don't have to be the victim of your environment. You can also be the architect of it. It turned out the houses in this neighborhood were nearly identical except for one feature. The location of the electrical meters. Some had one in the basement. Others had the electrical meters upstairs in the main hallway. As you may guess, the homes with the meters located in the main hallway use less electricity when their energy use was obvious and easy to track. People change their behavior. Every habit is inhibited initiated by a cue, and we are more likely to notice cues that should out. Unfortunately, the environment where we live and work often it's easy not to do certain action because there is no obvious cue to trigger the behavior. It's easy not to practice the guitar or when it's tucked away in the closet. It's easy not to read a book when the bookshelf is in the corner of the guest room. By comparison, creating obvious visual cues can draw your attention towards a desired habit. In the early 1990s, the cleaning staff at airport in Amsterdam installed a small sticker that looked like a fly near the center of each urinal. Apparently, when men stepped up to the urinal, they aimed for what they thought was a bug. The stickers improved their aim and significantly reduced spillage around the urinals. Further analysis determined that the stickers cut bathroom cleaners cost by 8% per year. Eventually, I took my own advice and redesigned by environment. I bought a large display bowl and plated it in the middle of the kitchen counter. The next time I bought apples, that was where they went out in the open where I could see them. Almost like magic, I began eating a few apples each day. simply because they were obvious rather than out of sight. If you want to make a habit a big part of your life, make the cue a big make this you a big part of your environment. The most persistent behavior usually have multiple cues. Consider how many different ways a smoke could be prompted to pull out a cigarette driven in the car, seeing a friend smoke, feeling stressed at work, and so on. The same strategy can be employed for good habits. By sprinkling triggers throughout your surroundings, you increase the odds that you will think about your habits throughout the day. Make sure the best choice is the most obvious one. Making a better decision is easy and natural when the cues for good habits are right in front of you. Environment design is powerful not only because it influences how we engage with the world, but also because we really do it. Most people live in a world others have created for them, but you can alter the spaces where you live and work to increase your exposure to positive cues and reduce your exposure to negative ones. Environment design allows you to take back control and become the architect of your life. Be the designer of your world and not merely the consumer of it. The context of the cue. The cues that trigger a habit can start over a very specific, but over time your habits become associated not with a single trigger but with the entire context surrounding the behavior. We mentally assign our habits to the location in which they occur, the home, the office, the gym. Each location develops a connection to certain habits and routines. You establish a particular relationship with the objects on your desk, the items on your kitchen counter, the things in your bathroom. Our behavior is not defined by the objects in the environment but by our relationship to them. In fact, this is a useful way to think about the influence of the environment on your behavior. Stop thinking about your environment as filled with objects. Start thinking about it as filled with relationships. Think in terms of how you interact with the spaces around you. For one person, her couch is the place where she reads for an hour each night. For someone else, the couch is where he watches television and eats a bowl of ice cream after work. Different people can have different memories and thus different habits associated with the same place. The power of context also reveals an important strategy. Habits can be easier to change in a new environment. It helps to escape the subtle triggers and cues that nudge you towards your current habits. Go to a new place, a different coffee shop, a bench in the park, a corner of your room you seldom use, and create a new routine here. It is easier to associate a new habit with a new context than to build a new habit in the face of completing cues. It can be difficult to go to bed early if you watch television in your bedroom each night. It can be hard to study in the living room without getting distracted if that's where you if that's where you always play video games. But when you step outside your normal environment, you leave your behavior biases behind. You are not battling old environment cues which allow new habits to form without interruption. Trying to eat healthier, it is likely that you shop an autopilot at your regular supermarket. Try a new grocery store. You may find it easier to avoid unhealthy food and when your brain doesn't automatically know where it is located in the store. When you can't manage to get to an entirely new environment, redefine or rearrange your current one. Create a separate space for work, study, exercise, entertainment, and cooking. The mantra I find usual is one space, one use. When I started my career as an entrepreneur, I would often work from my couch or at the kitchen table. In the evenings, I found it very difficult to stop working. There was no clear division between the end of work time and the beginning of people time. Was the kitchen table my office or the space where I ate meals? Was the couch where I relaxed or where I sent emails? Everything happened in the same place. Whenever possible, avoid mixing the context of one habit with another. When you start mixing context, you will start mixing habits, and the easier ones you will usually win out. This is one reason why the versatility is of modern technology is both a strength and a weakness. You can use your phone for all sorts of tasks, which makes it a powerful device. But when you can use your phone to do nearly anything, it becomes hard to associate it with one task. You want to be productive, but you are also conditioned to browse social media, check email, and play video games whenever you open your phone. It's mismatch of cues. If you can manage to stick with this strategy, each context will become associated with a particular habit and a mode of thought. Habits thrive under predictable circumstances like these. Focus comes automatically when you are sitting at your work desk. Relaxation is easier when you are in a space designed for that purpose. Sleep comes quickly when it is the only thing that it happens in your bedroom. If you want behaviors that are stable and predictable, you need an environment that is stable and predictable. A stable environment where everything has a place and a purpose is an environment where habits can easily form. So guys, this is the end of chapter 6. Now there is five points of summary, chapter summary. First point, small changes in context can lead to large changes in behavior over time. Second, every habit is initiated by a cue. We are more likely to notice cues that stand out. Third, make the cues of good habits obvious in your environment. Fourth, gradually your habits become associated not with a single trigger but with the entire context surrounding the behavior. The context becomes the cue. And fifth and last, it is easier to build new habits in a new environment because you are not fighting against old cues. So, this is the end of chapter 6. Tomorrow we will again come with chapter 7 named The Secret of Self Control. So, guys, till the time, please watch this video full. If you have started staying earlier, then please watch full and please comment me where I can improve my communications or fluency. And the other side, you can ping me as well on my number 9873976739. I will provide the same number in description box where I want to make a community where we can help each other. We just like I can help a bit you and you can help a bit me. And if you will around like from Delhi or NCR, so we can do meetup as well on weekends or once in a month as per requirement. So guys, seriously, what I can understand that English is very essential to become a very successful person. And somewhere I have read that who can speak very well, it is a one, it is the club of 1% in successful people, successful in the sense of getting rich. So please support me, support you guys, and support this channel called Partners, Learning Partners. So we'll meet again tomorrow. Till the time, goodbye.